I have some news that just really got on my nerves, ladies and gentlemen. And this message is more so directed at my brothers and sisters who watch the channel that live in Ghana. And what your president and government is even entertaining right now, you should be beyond pissed off. You should register to vote in your country and vote this guy out. He's doing too much, okay? Now, he went from saying that he wants black people in America to return to Ghana to being with macaroni out of France, saying he wanted to join with the Francophone. Then he had Prince Charles come over there, talk about they have a shared history. What, a shared history? What, slavery? What was good about that? Now, Israel, they're asking Ghana to help them get a seat at the African Union. Think about that for a minute. They're not African. What do they need a seat for? Why do they need to be there? They have their own country, their own issues going on. Why do they want to be having a seat at the African Union? Now check this out. This is what they want. So they state that Israel has called on the Ghanaian government to back its bid for an observer status in the African Union, which it lost in 2002 when the former Organization of African Union was dissolved and replaced by the AU. So they want to basically have someone there to monitor and listen and find out what's going on and what they're talking about at the African Union. That's what they want. Why? But it gets interesting. I'm gonna keep reading this. He also added, Netanyahu, that readmission of Israel to the AU as an observer will help attract Israeli investment to Africa. And he stated the same thing when he went to Liberia and also to Rwanda, to Kenya and Uganda. He's asking all these African nations, speak up for Israel. Get us in the African Union. Why? What do you need to observe? Now, they stated also that Israel strongly believes the president of the African Union has affected the country in terms of votes in international forums, and the rest of the country's voice are not being heard. So they feel that if they don't be in Africa's business, then they can't, get their voice out there. So he said he wants them to ask for their support in rejecting anti-Israel bias at the United Nations and bodies in the General Assembly and on the Human Rights Council. Now, this is what he says. We're going to debunk this. Israel is a nation that loves and respects all. In Israel, Jews, Christians, and Muslims live side by side as equal citizens. This is the real Israel. Okay, we're not going to even talk about Palestine. Let's leave that alone. Let's get to Africans, Ethiopians, okay, that's in Israel. Now, they've been kicking out African asylum seekers. They've been going through a lot of racism, okay? Africans that come over. They have been deporting them left and right. They've been saying that, oh, well, because these Africans here, they're going to just rape and commit crime when they're not even doing anything like this. They're heavily discriminated against, okay? The women have been sterilized, a lot of them, African women in Israel, so they can't have children. The men have been jailed. They also paying something called a deposit law, okay? And what they do is when Africans work in Israel, they hold 20% of their salary until they leave the country. They take their money from them. Now, employers of migrants have also been directed to pay an additional tax to discourage them from applying for the asylum seekers who are already grappling to find jobs. So they say since 2009, only 8 Eritreans and 2 Sudanese have been recognized as refugees in Israel. Another 200 Sudanese from Darfur were recently granted humanitarian status. Currently, 27,500 Eritreans, 7,800 Sudanese are also seeking asylum to start life in Israel. The African Union has to talk about the fate of these Africans who are in distress. But they're constantly deporting people. I've read stories where they'll take people out, deport them to Rwanda, and they're like, hey, you know, to leave them there. They ain't from Rwanda, but they'll put them there. I mean, they're protesting, and I put the picture up. It says, now I'm white. Will you deport me? You see that? And these are, you know, African people. But yet they want a seat in the African Union. Not the way they treat. Number one, I don't care if they treated you great. They don't need a seat in the African Union. You got a seat in the United Nations. That's enough. You don't need no seat anywhere. Africa has to start having, and I'm listening, talking to you young people in Ghana. Y'all start running for politics. Where is the killmongers in Africa? You need the killmongers to come to the forefront. Someone that is going to take the lead, someone that's not going to take nobody's crap. It's just that simple. And it's going to love Ghana, want to do right by the people, and don't want to hear nothing from a colonizer. I mean, aren't y'all sick and tired of the colonizers' foot on the neck? You had the British, you had everyone in the West, now the Chinese. Now they want to come in and be observing your African Union. Then on top of that, I just heard that it was more ruckus that was being caused over there, but about a week or so ago, from what I heard. From about Africans being there in Israel and how they blaming them for crimes they're not committing, how they constantly still discriminating against them. But they want a seat in the African Union. Now, people in Ghana, you got to check your leader. You got to check him. I don't know who paid him, because to me it seemed like somebody got to him. Because all before, he started off good. He started off talking, you know, like a man. And all of a sudden he did this 180. And I like I said, somebody must have paid him off. And now all of a sudden he want to welcome everybody in all of a sudden when he wasn't doing that before. Who paid you off, man? Let me read his name again. President, let me get to it. Akufo Addo. If I'm saying it right. President Addo. Who paid you off, man? Who paid you off? Because it sounds like you paid off. When you make a 180 like that, when you've been having a strong stance before, I mean, just overnight you switching? No, somebody paid you. Did international bankers pay you? Who paid you? That you selling your people out in Ghana? And then when the people hear stories like this, they want to say, see, that's why I don't even want to go over there. Look what they're doing. And I'm like, look, let's not respond like the white supremacists. You know, white supremacists judge black people off of the actions of one. There's a lot of great people in Ghana, a lot of great men, great women in Ghana. They have, from what I was told, big communities of African Americans in Ghana. So this one guy doesn't ruin the country of Ghana. And if you want to go to Ghana, go. You know, I definitely want to go to Ghana myself. But this guy here, like man, it's like, when are we going to see leaders in the African continent that's going to stand up, that's going to say no, that say we rather die before we sit here and be colonized? When are we going to see that? I'm waiting for it. Trust me, I'm waiting for it. If you need brothers and sisters from America to come teach you the ways of certain things you're not learning about the colonizers, we will teach you the ways. But no, this is, let's say, this gets on my nerves. And why, my thing is, it's just like, why do you want to sit there and listen in on what black folks are talking about? Why? Why? And people in the comment section, maybe you could ask that question, answer that question for me. Why do they want to do this? And why does he keep on going around asking people to get him in there? Because, you know, I got an opinion about it, but I'd rather hear yours in the comment section.